My grandmother once said, "You don't remain young for long. The window for marriage can be very small for women in the society. Nobody gets the perfect husband of their dream. If the fundamentals are fine and values are matched, then you simply have to adjust and rest." So this is one of the sentence from the book Common Yet Uncommon by Sudha Murthy, one of the best author. उसकी द वाइज एंड अदरवाइज इज जस्ट टू गुड बुक एंड वो मुझे बहुत ही पसंद आई थी. एंड दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक फोर्थ और फिफ्थ बुक आई एम रीडिंग बाय द सुधा मूर्ति. उसकी बहुत सारी बुक्स है, चिल्ड्रन बुक्स है, अडल्ट में है, एंड द स्टोरीज की भी बहुत सारी बुक्स है. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द बुक एंड वाइज द अदरवाइज इट्स लाइक ट्रांसलेटेड इन टू मेनी लैंग्वेजेस एज वेल. इट इज द बेस्ट बुक दैट यू शुड डेफिनेटली रीड. सो टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट सुधा मूर्ति's this book, which is Common Yet Uncommon, 14 memorable stories from daily life. As the name suggests, common yet uncommon, these are the stories from Sudha Murty's life. She met a lot of people and she understood a lot of people. She tried to had a conversation with lot of people in her journey, and उसमें से कुछ ऐसे लोग थे जैसे गंगा हो गया, बिडू हो गया, then Suman the selfish. So these are the names in the book actually, and every story is like 10 to 15 pages maximum, and each story contains something really important, a message, a beautiful principle. The one I talked about, it is almost 3 or 4 story जहाँ पे she talks about why having a principle is important, why you have to adjust sometimes in the life. And this is one of the stories. It's not like I'm against it or I'm in the form of that context, but it's just one of the story. So basically this book contains almost 14 stories about the common yet uncommon people, जिनको शायद कभी लाइफ में उतना इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं मिला, बट दे काइंड ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस यू इन अ लिटिल वे. जैसे कि हमारी लाइफ में भी बहुत सारे ऐसे फ्रेंड्स होते हैं, वी नेवर गेट टू नो देम रियली वेल, बट समटाइम्स दे डू समथिंग रियली गुड एंड वी गेट इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम देम कि ओके दिस गाय इज डूइंग दैट, दिस गर्ल इज डूइंग दैट, एंड उसने उसको हेल्प किया था. दिस इज काइंड ऑफ अ स्वीट गेस्चर. सो वैसे ही बहुत सारी अलग अलग स्टोरीज है जो इस बुक में दी गई है. द फर्स्ट स्टोरी इज अबाउट वी नेवर थिंक अबाउट आवर नेबर्स चिल्ड्रन, वी ऑलवेज थिंक अबाउट आवर ओन चिल्ड्रन. सो फर्स्ट स्टोरी यूजुअली टॉक्स अबाउट बेसिकली हाउ दैट गाय, हाउ दैट पर्सन यूज टू थिंक अबाउट द नेबर्स चिल्ड्रन. सबको लगता था कि वो ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है, वाई ही इज डूइंग दैट, वाई इज हेल्पिंग दैट. सबको लगता कि ही जस्ट वेस्टिंग हिज मनी एंड एवरीथिंग, दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग. बट एंड में जाके पता चलता है कि उसके नेबर्स के चिल्ड्रन को ना अच्छा एजुकेशन था, ना अच्छा सोर्सेज थे, रिसोर्सेज थे, कुछ भी नहीं था. सो दिस इज अ स्टोरी अबाउट दैट पर्सन. देन सेकंड स्टोरी इज अबाउट प्रोबेबली द एडजस्टमेंट. आई एम नॉट एग्जैक्टली श्योर, लेट मी चेक द टाइटल ऑफ द बुक. Jayant the shopkeeper. So the Jayant the shopkeeper is the story about a businessman who wanted to run a business, but he never understood the basic principle of the business, and that is all about that. And he ultimately shut down the business and he goes back to their children, stay with them. And he says ki handling a family, handling their in-laws, it is also kind of a business, but he failed doing one of the business. So that is the story about that Jayant character. Then Ganga the unadaptable, which is the first line I talked about. That is the first about that Ganga, which is she wanted to get adjusted to the marriage. Then Hema the woman Friday, not made for each other. Not made for each other is the story about the person, they are into the love, but the world is not accepted their love, and how that story takes the twist into the another level. So you will able to understand those sort of things into that. So this is just about the different stories. The best part is you can read any story at any point. It's not necessary you have to read a book from start to end. You can pick up any story and you can start reading any of the story. This is just good book, I will say. If you compare to the wise and otherwise, obviously there is no comparison because both stands on a different level and both are into the different category. But it's a good book. I mean, you should definitely read. At least some stories are my favorite, जैसे कि Ganga the adaptable, not made for each other. Then Amba the super chef. These are the few stories which I really enjoyed. Lunchbox Nalini. So these are the few stories which are amazing. Like I got really inspired from those stories, and you should at least read those stories. So if you ask me, should you read this book? Yes, if you love seeing different people, if you love understanding different people, their struggle and how they get out of it, then you should definitely read this 14 stories from their daily life. So that is more about this book. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know into the comment section which is the Sudha Murthy's favorite book by you have read. If you have any read, then which is your favorite book. And that's all for the today's video. If you love this kind of video, then check out this playlist where I shared a lot of book reviews and you will definitely enjoy those videos. And if you love audiobooks, then check out this playlist where I shared a lot of playlists about how to get into the audiobook, how everything about the audio. So that's all for the today's video. See you in the next one.